Across the border in Sudan, the country's finance minister expects the United States to ease restrictions on the import of spare parts for planes and trains. Following meetings of the IMF and the World Bank in Washington, D.C., Minister Badr Mohammed said there has been a remarkable improvement in Sudanese-U.S. relations. CCTV's Lorna Shaddick reports.
Well, Sudan has been under sanctions here in the US since 1997 when Bill Clinton was the president. He set up a trade embargo and he also froze Sudanese government assets here in America. And George W. Bush, his successor, then also added more sanctions targeting specifically those involved in the conflict in Darfur. But last December, a UN expert on human rights who went to Sudan to study the effect of the sanctions did conclude that some of them were having a harmful effect on ordinary people there in terms of encouraging a black market and making it difficult to do business. And Sudan's ruling party agreed with that. It said the trade embargo in particular is affecting its citizens' lives. It's much harder for them to transfer money, for example. And it also blamed the embargo for the decline of the national airline. It said that they can't get spare parts for the aircraft now, and Sudanese passengers also have to pay higher airfares as a result. But the US Secretary of State John Kerry has said that removing any of these sanctions would be predicated on what he called genuine and sustained improvements in how Sudan treats its citizens and adheres to international obligations. And lobbying groups here in America just say that isn't happening yet, especially when it comes to Darfur. And they say that actually the sanctions are quite a useful and powerful tool to put pressure on Khartoum over issues like human rights and state-sponsored terrorism. And in fact, one group, Act for Sudan, says the sanctions are actually having a very powerful effect now on the economy and isolating Sudan internationally. So it says these measures should not only stay in place, but perhaps even be tightened. Now, we know the Obama administration has supported the idea of using sanctions as a bargaining chip and a negotiating tool in the past. We saw that with Iran. So it's perhaps unlikely that the US would give up this sort of leverage on the government of Omar al-Bashir without something significant in return. Lorna Shaddick, CCTV, New York.